Hi, I'm Mike Bain from Christian Voice New Zealand. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. That was the slogan of George Orwell's fictional English Socialist Party of Oceania from his timeless dystopian novel 1984. Orwell depicted a mind control technique employed by his fictional party called doublethink, which describes the act of simultaneously accepting two mutually contradictory beliefs as correct, often in distinct social contexts. Orwell's theses went like this: if the malleable masses could be made to believe self-contradictory, patently absurd and empirically impossible concepts as true, then they could be made to believe or do anything. Well, given the current state of New Zealand, we've entered an age that George Orwell might never have imagined. Today, the secular left, also known as the cultural Marxists, have applied the doublethink mind control technique, political correctness, on a grand scale in New Zealand. Australian university educator Kevin Donnelly describes political correctness as an insidious and poisonous form of group thinking and language control dedicated to enforcing a radical culture of left ideology on schools, universities, the media, churches and the family. Cultural Marxism is a variation of the Marxist strategy to build a utopian socialist order on the ashes of Christian civilization, but through subversion of the moral culture. Who are these people who aim to scrub New Zealand on its Christian founding principles and take instead a Sharpie pen to our nation? It should come as no surprise that our Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern and her Labour Party, and also many members of the opposition, are all complicit. They maintain that objective morality is treated as relative, that evil is good and good evil. They now demand that the immutable laws of physics and biology be similarly repealed. The left-leaning agenda has already entrenched itself into the fabric of New Zealand. This has been more so over the past 5 years, with changes being made to laws that have stood true to the fact from day one. I'm talking about the laws of nature and what is natural. We know how big a push the left is with its climate change crisis, which is, to be honest, the majority of the world, except for Greta Thunberg and James Shaw, really care about. Some of us who have been around for a while understand seasonal change and cycles, so unless you own a Toyota Hilux Ute, well, we'll get through another year without too much change. Then there's the other law, the nature of our cultural Marxist New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is very keen on, and that's gender change. Male is female, female is male, evil is good. The left-leaning slogan of the cultural Marxist is exactly what Orwell was talking about. It is true, for instance, that water is composed 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen, H2O. No amount of wishful thinking, angry foot-stopping, or even a tyrannical government edict, which will eventually be handed down to the New Zealand school chemistry class, can change this unchangeable reality. It's true that a person born with double X chromosomes is and shall always be female, while a person born with a distinct X and Y chromosome is forever male. Again, no amount of self-delusion, gnashing of teeth, cross-dressing, genital mutilation surgery, or utterly bizarre governmental doublethink dictates can alter the unalterable fact. Now, while we would call a person who subjectively insists that water is comprised of pure hydrogen either ignorant or insane, yet we bizarrely call a person who likewise insists that a man can somehow transition to a woman progressive. Even so, it's neither ignorance nor insanity that drives the progressive goal of creating a genderless society. It is something far more sinister. Progressives' efforts to legalise genderless marriage by way of arbitrary decree do not make it a legitimate marriage any more than legalising abortion makes it not murder. Likewise, calling a sexually confused man a trans woman makes him no more of a woman than cutting off the stem of a banana makes it a rock melon. Yet this Emperor's New Clothes agenda moves ahead at breakneck speed, with the latest legislation removing the rights of parents with sexually confused children. The necks that they need to be broken are possessed by those who embrace the biblical sexual ethic and the morality of modesty. Cultural Marxism entails, among other things, a secularist aspect of left-wing ideology that seeks within societies to supplant traditional values and norms with postmodern moral relativism. It endeavours to destroy innocence, sexualise children, desensitise them to every sexual perversion of every type, and quite literally expose as many young girls as possible to adult male genitalia. It seeks the elimination of the natural family rather than solely through destruction of capitalism. From its beginning, the promoters of cultural Marxism have known that they could be more effective if they concealed the Marxist nature of their work, hence the use of terms such as multiculturalism. True though this may be, the ideological seeds of contemporary cultural Marxism nonetheless sprout from deep within the dead soil of historical communism. It is not economic redistribution alone through which progressives seek to both fundamentally transform New Zealand, but rather, and perhaps primarily, it is through victory over the disparagingly tagged social issues such as sin-centric, gay marriage, gender identity and neutrality, perverting human sexuality, morality and natural family structure, child sacrifice via abortion on demand, and abolishing religious liberty, and so it goes. In the temporal realm, secular leftists' chaotic crusade to destroy marriage, the family, and create their brave new world of repressive non-binary is a revolt designed to bring down Western civilization as they view it, an oppressive patriarchy which stems from the archaic precepts of Christian morality. In the spiritual realm, the gender agenda represents fist-shaking rebellion against the very creator who at the beginning made them male and female and said, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh, Matthew 19. So it remains to be seen how the temporal battle will play out. The spiritual battle, though, is a foregone conclusion. So I leave you to consider the answer, are we now living in the pages of Orwell's 1984?
Thank you for watching. Help us to spread this message by sharing it within your own network. For more information, jump online to our website, christianvoicenewzealand.com.